If I were to become living in the private member, will I be free from the system of federal government? And will I just be under the jurisdiction of my state? Okay. So this is a little misguided from a standpoint of the second part. 100% freedom. When you claim your freedom, you're free. Um, if it's been done in a proper format. And the reason why we do everything in the living in the private program, the way that we do it is it's done in a proper format. But when you're talking about my state and you're thinking California, Arizona, New York, go get your Black's Law out and look at the word state. There's lowercase and capitalized. The lowercase definition of state is a body of people. It's a state of being. It's like being a child of God here on earth, because you're saying in the declaration that he is king and that you are self-governed. And in doing so, you are the government. They, as the corporation, were designed for one purpose: to uphold your God-given unalienable rights, not the reverse. You don't obey the federal government. The federal government obeys you. Let's call it this way: the federal corporation known as the United States obeys you. And they've written this throughout the federal rules of regulation. They've written this throughout the Supreme Court rulings. I literally handed an attorney about 4 weeks ago 70 Supreme Court, state and federal cases on state citizenship. I just got off the phone with him for an hour and a half, and we're going to finish up in 2 days on another phone call. I'm elated because it's already known it as real. I already seen it in shepherdized, meaning validated, still active law Supreme Court rulings, these cases. And but now I'm going to have an appellate level DC JD attorney give a statement that it's legitimate. And it's so it's extremely exciting. Not that I needed an attorney, you know what I mean? But at that level attorney who has fought in the Supreme Court all day, I'll take it. I'll pay for it. So I get it. We don't understand who we are. And that word state, you think I'm a Californian, so I'm a part of a structure, an entity. No, it literally means body of people. And you as a body of people are saying he is king and you are self-governed. That's it. So when you talk about being free, is that your definition of free? Where they uphold your God-given unalienable rights because they have to? Because you've done a process that says, I don't want any part of you. I don't want to be an employee. I don't want benefits, rights, or privileges from you. I'm unalienable under God. I'm per the declaration, and you are going to uphold my God-given unalienable rights. The Constitution doesn't apply to the people. People are constantly quoting the Constitution. I want my constitutional rights. You don't have any constitutional rights. You have better rights. You have God-given unalienable rights. What the Constitution does, you benefit from it, but it belongs to the federal government. It is to restrain them. That's it. The Bill of Rights is just kind of like a slap, clear document developed in 1791 to make clarity on what those guys are supposed to do. But your rights still are not from the Bill of Rights. They're from God. And so we don't claim to be under anything other than God. So when you're asking what is freedom, that's about as free as you're ever going to get. And no, you're not under a state. You are the state. And self-governance is now monitored by the commandments. Self-governance is now monitored by grand jury, a peer of your people, a group of your people that, if you've committed a crime against your brother, you're going to go stand before your brother in a grand jury and you're going to face the accuser. And you're going to get an opportunity to be, either a true bill be written or and where you actually get an indictment and you go before a jury trial of, which now they can't do that anymore. I mean, they make a color pretense of doing that, but they want to convict everybody of everything and put millions and millions of people in prison because they make money on it. So for you, freedom is done at the moment you make your allegiance to God. People hate to say that, I hate to hear that. I don't care. You go read the Declaration of Independence and you tell me what you're making your allegiance to. You want to be an American? You tell me what it's going to require. If you've got to make allegiance to that document, what are you saying? He is king. Period. I know people don't like it, but guess what? God blessed it. And you know what? Your freedoms are clear and identifiable in the federal rules of regulation in Supreme Court, both federally and state. It's clear as a bell. And then they tried to trick everybody in creating these terms like national of the United States being synonymous, and they're not even close. And there's people out there still trying to make the word national as being in a precursor to the Declaration and all these, no, come on, guys. Look, I'm not poo-pooing anybody out there. I'm just saying I want to be a child of the Most High God. I didn't understand really what that meant other than a spiritual thing as a believer. But when I started digging into what we have here in this nation, I find it so interesting that everybody from around the world, all the dregs not wanting to be a part of the structure and or system, just ran to America. And these states of people, colonies that converted to states, bodies of people, became free under God. And they slowly made everybody think that the United States was synonymous with the United States of America. And they slowly offered job positions for everybody. And they tricked everybody. So it's pretty simple. Quit the corporation and just keep quitting. Keep not accepting their offers for a benefit or privilege. Okay, your rights are granted from God, and it's clear we don't need anything from them. But if you're going to force me to drive a car that is registered, I'm going to put it in God's name. If you're going to force me to have a driver's license, I'm going to make sure I've reserved my rights. If you're going to force me to, what I'm saying, we got to be wise as a serpent, soft as a dove, and put ourselves in proper position on these adhesion trusts, because that's all they are. It's a single-sided signed event. It's a trust contract. You would get a countersigned agreement. There'd be equal consideration on the other side. So it is what it is. It's trust. And I don't want to be the trustee anymore. I don't want to be the liability anymore. I don't want to be the collateral for your horrible decisions that you're making. I'll be the beneficiary. And because you're not falling in line with what I would require as a self-governed man of God, as an American, as a Californian, we're going to make our own set of rules, and you're going to agree with them, and they do. And so it's a journey to get here in where I'm at in my mind. I get it. It's not easy to just make the transformation in your mind because you feel like government, big, strong, powerful. Yeah. I get it. They are not to a state citizen, because their whole structure is founded on us. They are an overlay with a dual oath. If they operate outside of that oath, we can take them out like that. I don't mean kill them. I mean lawfully. Bind them to their oath, remove them from their position for violating their oath, for violating their statutes, for a state citizen. And those are all the elements of what it's critical to know and understand, and critical to remember who you are. And people just live in fear. And I want people to really, and know this is not off topic, it's very important to consider based on your question. It's a big consideration that we stop operating in fear and start operating like the children of the Most High God. Because if you're going to claim it, you better live it, and you better live it here and know who you are and be willing to stand at even the most difficult times. And I just heard something the other day from Dr. Oz. I'm not a follower of Dr. Oz. It was just a meme that popped up. And it's the reason when you look at our Pledge of Allegiance and you understand land of the free, home of the brave. Never really thought about it because it takes one brave individual, man, woman, to be free. It does. Because everybody wants to make you a slave. Everybody wants to bring you down because you're worth more money that way.